Today, I'm going to be tackling this 17-gallon pot. That's if I cannot drop my camera. It has turmeric in it, peanuts in it, and sugarcane. Stay tuned and let's get this pot all cleaned up. The pots up against the privacy fence got very little love this year. I spent a little time away from the garden, so it didn't get the adequate amount of water. There was a lot of disappointment over here, but that's okay. Next year is going to be better. I'm not going to fret. Because I have spiders in the garden, I'm going to be using my tool to excavate this pot and all others that were sitting by the privacy fence. You'll see here I have a few pieces of turmeric. See? Bugs, spiders. I'm going to take these 2 pieces of turmeric, pot them up, and put them inside the greenhouse. I have no idea what happened to my peanuts, but I didn't get any. So I'm going to use my peanuts as a chop and drop back inside this container. This little piece of turmeric has a nice little root on it, so I'm going to repot it up and put it in the greenhouse. This sugarcane has a lot of roots. I'm trying not to disturb them too much, but they've got a pretty tight little root system here. Compared to the soil in my other 17-gallon containers, this soil looks really good, nice and loose. I'm really happy with it. Now it's time to clean up this sugarcane, cut it up, then repot it for the winter. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the joints of this sugarcane has begun to grow new sugarcane. They're everywhere. I hope you guys can see what I'm trying to show you. I'm adding fertilizer to the container just in case the cut pieces need it for the winter. When I originally potted up this container, I topped it off with wood chip. As you can see from me picking up this tiny piece of wood chip, there's very little wood chip left that you can actually identify. There is still some in the soil, but it has broken down nicely. When I originally potted up this sugarcane, it was just a few pieces of purple sugarcane that I cut up off of a long stalk of sugarcane. As you can see here, it has a nice cluster right here towards the side and near the center. And it has a really nice root system, so it's been happy, relatively happy, and it's grown well in this container. Because this is such a large container, I'm going to add some more fertilizer. Now it's time to cut it down and bury it. I'm showing you right here, as my spouse likes to call it, a little nubbin. It has nubbins on the joints. I am going to cut it here in between the joints. This is what my spouse calls a nubbin. And as you can see here at the joints, you have more growth of sugarcane. I'm clipping the tops of the sugarcane off right above a joint, and I'm going to place this piece in some water and see if anything will happen to it. This sugarcane has nubbins at almost every single joint. If you're wondering why my sugarcane has all these bends in it, it's because it was right inside the area where the morning glories grew. And of course, if you know anything about morning glories grab a hold of everything and pull them down. And that's what happened. The main stem of this piece of sugarcane rotted off, and so it began to grow another piece right from the joint. I am going to cut it in between those two joints and just lay it on the soil until I'm ready to bury it. Now this piece of sugar cane has sprouted from almost every joint. It has a joint right here. I'm going to cut above it, place that top in some water, cut this piece into smaller pieces, and then work on the last piece before I bury all of this. This piece was the most mature out of all of the pieces here today that I've harvested. It actually has that red coloring. I'm excited about it, so maybe next year this pot will be absolutely teeming full of mature red sugarcane. This piece is no different than all the others. It has nubbins at every joint. Once I finish cutting up this last piece, and this may take a bit of doing, I may need to get a bigger shear because this is pretty thick. I'm going to actually bury this down several inches, cover it over because I want to make sure that it's protected for the winter time. I need to roll my sleeves up. I don't want to get dirt on my sleeves. I'm going to end up playing in the dirt just a few minutes because I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. This was my very first time growing sugarcane, so I want to make sure that it does survive over the winter and that it will grow, hopefully, fingers crossed, and grow better next year than it did this year. So I'm going to add a little bit more fertilizer further down in the bucket. I'm using an organic fertilizer, so it's not going to be too much, it's not going to burn it, it's not going to hurt it at all. I'm trying to work around this root ball. It's pretty massive. To enrich this soil and fertilize it even further, I'm going to take these peanuts and use them as a chop and drop right after I cut the root ball off the bottom. Now that I have those tucked in, I am now going to plant these broad beans. These are some pretty big beans. I soaked them overnight and only one of them germinated off the top, but that's okay. I think I'll get some broad beans either way. Now I'm going to make this all nice and snug before I'm all done for the evening. I hope you all enjoyed this content this evening. If you did, do me a favor. Like, comment, share, hit that subscribe button, and come back for more and more episodes. Until the next time, have a nice evening and happy fall gardening to you all. It's the next day and I have more daylight. I just wanted to show you that the sugarcane has been nicely tucked in and hopefully it'll be safe for the winter.